Hey there, everybody. Guess who's back? Back again in this shirt. I know why you guys are all here because I'm finally getting to Frost after I forgot that Folly came before him, alphabetically speaking. But regardless of my forgetful nature, I would just like to say something. Let me actually get this in frame because I referenced it and you guys probably couldn't see what I was talking about. But I do want to just say something. This video isn't sponsored. And that is because uh, I can't have sponsorships yet. Because you need a certain amount of subscribers in order to get sponsorships. Which means if I want to be sponsored by, I don't know, Warframe, because I'm using content from their game, or Box Lunch, because that's where I got this shirt, or the Sonoma County Library because that's where I work, or OBS because that's what I'm recording this on. If I want those sponsorships, I need subscribers. And considering the majority of the people who watch my videos watch the Warframe videos, I feel like now is as good a time to plug as any. I would also just like to say, if you're enjoying my content as you've been seeing it, please go and see my other content because all things considered, just because it's not based in Warframe doesn't mean it's not also good Lucas content or good Flame content. You know what? Whatever. What's the harm in saying my name? Whatever. I don't care. Anyway, uh let me just see what I got going here. And yep, today is the Frost episode. Unfortunately, I personally do not have Frost Prime, but that doesn't mean I can't show you guys Base Frost and various things about them. So, off we go with the gameplay, I guess. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is Frost. Uh, I kind of customized him to make him just extra white. Don't ask why. I was trying to go for like a. I'm just not even gonna explain it. It's not worth explaining. Anyway, uh, first and foremost, before I forget anything, Frost has a proto frame. His name is Velmir, and the proto frame is actually married to the proto frame of another Warframe that we'll go over later, who is Saren. Yeah, Saren. So that'll be the video after the Rhino video. And yeah. Anyway, what are Frost's abilities? What do they got? So first and foremost, passive. Cold status effects from Frost abilities last 100% longer, and Frost gains 50 armor for each enemy afflicted with cold within affinity range. Uh, in case you guys don't remember, or just in case I haven't brought it up before, affinity range is basically just like this sort of AoE surrounding you, in which, basically, it's basically just this AoE in which you share like experience points gained when you're like leveling up Warframes and stuff. But yeah, next ability, first ability is freeze, and simple, self-explanatory. I don't have to go into detail for this. It just freezes targets. It's just a freezing projectile. Anyway, second ability, ice wave. It's pretty self-explanatory. It sends a wave of razor-sharp crystallized ice towards enemy, dealing heavy damage. Not totally sure about heavy damage on that one, but all things considered, what even classifies as heavy damage? I have to pause the recording real quick. Give me a sec. Alright, had to get a refill on my water and also spit into the sink. Don't worry, I'm not spitting up blood. I think I'm still pretty far from dying via smoke inhalation, but let's keep going on Frost. Anyway, third ability is Snow Globe. This is probably the most used ability from people that regularly play Frost, at least that I'm aware of. Uh, it's basically just a dome of ice and freezing. Uh, it also brief. It also briefly has invulnerability, or I don't know. It frost deep freezes any vapor and moisture in the area, creating a protective sphere with brief invulnerability to boost its strength. So yeah, that's that. Fourth ability, Avalanche. It's just ice raining from the sky, and then yeah, summons a treacherous landslide of ice that instantly freezes and shatters all enemies in its radius. Honestly, pretty cool. Pun intended. Actually, that pun wasn't intended. Anyway, before I also forget this, let's take a look at Frost Augments, which I did check beforehand, and I'm going to go over all of them, and you can get all of them in Steel Meridian. Starting with Freeze Force. This is an augment for the first ability, Freeze. Hold to cast will grant all allies within 15 meters an additional 100% cold damage to their attacks for 40 seconds. What does that mean? Well, that's getting into cold status, and that's basically just like in this game, you can mod your weapons, as I've gone over previously, and something you can mod onto a weapon is certain percent chances for statuses to occur. Cold is one of those statuses, so if they have weapons modded with uh, cold damage, then there's a chance that your bullets or attacks will freeze enemies. This augment is as if you would basically just make it so that people are doing cold statuses worth 100% of the damage that they're already doing. So basically, you just double their damage with the caveat that it's freezing people now. Second augment, Ice Wave augment, Ice Wave Impedance. Creates a frozen trail for 12 seconds. Enemies that touch it are inflicted with cold status every second. In case it hasn't gotten through to you guys at this point, Frost is the cold Warframe. Are there any other cold Warframes in a similar way that Ember is the heat Warframe? And there are other heat Warframes? Honestly, I don't. I think Frost is kind of one of a kind in terms of like being ice based. But anyway, that's what that creates a frozen trail for 12 seconds. Enemies that touch it are inflicted with cold status every second. That's what that does. Third augment, Chilling Globe. It's a snow globe augment. Enemies that enter have a 50% chance to become frozen solid for 10 seconds. Which, yeah, that'd be good for immobilizing targets, considering it's a 50-50 chance. Uh, Fourth, Icy Avalanche. The avalanche augment. Allies within affinity range are coated in ice that grants 60 overguard per enemy hit, and overguard increases by 20% of your armor once per enemy. What is overguard? Well, it's basically just a shield that goes over your shields and is like a one-time use. It doesn't regenerate unless you have a means by which to regenerate it, like Rhino or no, yeah, the only example I can think of off the top of my head is Rhino, and I'll get to Rhino. Believe me. We are very We're a bit far away from Rhino at the moment, but we will get to him eventually. If I'm going to end this series on any Warframe other than Zephyr, it is going to be Rhino. Anyway, yeah, Overguard, it's basically just like you have your health, you have your shields protecting your health, you have your Overguard tanking all of your damage. And then uh fighting Frost is kind of just a passive thing. It means Frost gains 200% critical chance and 200% critical damage against frozen enemies, which is pretty good, not gonna lie. That is a pretty effective ability. Uh, anyway, moving out of here. The other things to go over would be lore and acquisition. However, at least to my knowledge, Frost doesn't have any lore. I don't know. I guess I can check the Codex, the Lavarian, and as you can see, there's no like lore bits here. And we got 11 minutes left, so that's plenty of time for me to go over acquisition, which is not on Sedna. I believe Frost. I'm a terrible informant. I forgot what planet you guys get Frost from. Give me a second. Alright, I am somewhat of an idiot because I have farmed this boss fight so many times and I never remembered that Frost is the one that drops from it. Regardless of me somewhat being an idiot, Frost is, of course, an assassination warframe, meaning that in order to acquire his parts blueprints, you need to do an assassination mission. Which assassination mission? Well, it's on series. Exta on series, it is the dual assassination of Lieutenant-Lect Krill and Captain Vor. Why is Captain Vor's name unironically Vor? Well, take that up with Digital Extremes. Honestly, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. This... I'm gonna be straight with you, that, fight, it's just a battle of annoyance, mainly because Vor is a sneaky, teleporting piece of shit, and Krill is practically immortal for, like, the majority of the fight, but if you get past his barrier, he just topples like a domino. Uh, anyway, aside from that, there is, of course, Frost Prime, which I can somewhat tell you about. I can tell you that he is not currently in Prime Resurgence.
The Prime
At least I don't believe he is.
the
Nope,
pride
that's
of
still
Angara,
Titania Angara.
and the end of it.
And the next
Hell
is
of
going to
it.
be Revenant and Baroque, both of which I already have. Honestly, I should probably try farming Titania Angara. Should have thought of that a while ago.
The circling hawk may choose its prey at leisure.
But, yeah, Frost Prime isn't currently in Prime Resurgence. He's also not in Prime Rotation. And, I wouldn't expect him to be so like that for a month. But I don't think he's been in a Prime Resurgence in at least a year, maybe two. So, all things considered, he might be coming within, like, a good month or two, maybe. Anyway, that is my comprehensive going over of Frost. And, I mean, yeah, nothing much else to talk about. I will see you guys later. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out some other content, and, I'm gonna go watch Lego Ninjago Dragons Rising. I don't know. See ya.